Hello, this is Mary Anders with Courageous Communication. I work with, hold on, let me adjust myself here. I work with nonprofit leaders to grow their influence so they can have more income and impact. And by influence, I don't mean influencer. I mean influence, meaning getting people you have no authority over to do what you want them to do. And trust me, there's a lot of people in your life that you have no authority over, and you want them to do what you want them to do. Donors, board members, even people you do have authority over, like staff. And that's what I do. And today I'm going to talk to you about something that seems a little ironic to be important to me because I'm a person of words, but we're going to talk about nonverbal communication. Now, I'm going on LinkedIn Live. This is my first time and I'm a little bit nervous. I have to say, I don't get nervous very easily, but I am a little nervous. And when we get nervous, the crazy thoughts start spinning in our head and our brain does like worst case scenario stuff. And one of the things that I feared the most was saying the wrong thing. And that's the thing I hear about most. What if I say the wrong thing? Now, as somebody who uses words for a living, I'm a writer, I was a journalism major, I love words. I often think, well, of course, we have to be concerned with saying the right thing. And yet, what I know for sure is that energy speaks louder than words. And this is the person who loves words telling you this, but your energy speaks louder than words. And that's my dog back there, Carly. Hey, Carly. So what does energy speaks louder than words mean? That means 90% of communication is nonverbal. It's what's not said. And so many times we get like so agitated about saying the wrong thing. And sometimes that may keep us from asking for what we want, like money, because we're afraid we're going to mess it up. So let's release that fact that you can't say the wrong thing, and because it's so little of what communication is. So for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you how to communicate non-verbally, because your nonverbal communication can either contradict what you're saying or support it. And I want you to hear yes. I want you to get what you want, need, and deserve. So I'm going to teach you how to use nonverbal communication to support your message. If they are not in alignment, if you're saying one thing, but your energy says another thing, subconsciously, your listeners they're going to go off. The bells are going to be like, there's something about this I'm not quite connecting with. It just doesn't feel quite right. So this is what we're going to talk about today, which is posture. Like, yes, I'm going to sound like your mom when you were a teenager, stand up straight, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get that. And posture is important. Okay. Now, I'm going to get a little woo on you for 1 second. Hang in there with me because it's going to make total sense. You think about sitting in your chair, right? If you're thinking about this right now, just sit in your chair and feel your tailbone like under you. Feel that right there in your hips in your seat. And then think about your spine going all the way up to right here, the back of the base of your neck, just right above the base of your neck. And that sometimes they call this like the mouth of God, like at the back of that neck, at the top of your neck, that's where like all the nerves run into your body. And I want you to feel for just a second, like the energy moving up and down that spine, because when that's open, there's a flow. And when there's a flow, you're more receptive and people perceive you as more receptive. So I want to show you how to sit, and then I'll show you how not to sit, and you're going to get it right away. So how to sit is, you don't want to be too stiff, like, like with your mom, when you were like, my mom was always like, sit up straight. Like, that's too stiff. And then this is too slouchy, but we're going to be like right here where we can feel that spine. And sometimes before I do a meeting, before I come in here with you, before I do my influence course, I have people, we sit and breathe for a second. And really what I'm doing is opening them up to their receptivity, opening them up to the ideas that I'm going to share with them just by having them sit a certain way. And that's going to help them receive information. And that's what we want to do. We want to get people to receive the information we have to share. So think about sitting up and just turning your chin down just like an inch, not like way down, not like way up, but just like an inch. And that just aligns the spine and allows that energy to flow. And what it does to your listener is you look open, you look relaxed, and you look confident. And that's the posture that you want to hold. Now, you can't see this from where you are, but my computer is on a stand, which allows me to maintain this posture just by looking at the green light and loving on you people right now. It allows me to maintain this posture, okay? And it allows me to sit naturally like this all the time. I'm not, I'm not looking way up. I'm not looking way down. Like when COVID first hit and we all had to go home and work, and like people were literally have their laptops on their lap and they're like going like this. How many chins can you make for yourself? They're not seeing or thinking about how they're coming across in that situation. So looking at like even like moving your computer when you're doing Zoom to a place where you can naturally sit like this, and think about doing this all the time, even if you think it doesn't matter, like a staff meeting where you see people all day, every day. And, but because if you can practice it when the stakes are low, you're going to be super comfortable with it when the stakes are high, when you're asking for something, or it's very important for you to have an idea across whether you're sitting or standing. You want to be very conscious of this, like your head, you're feeling like standing straight with your head just a little bit down and leaning just a little bit forward. And that is the perfect open position. Now, this is what we don't want to do, right? I know you guys would never do this, but this way, sitting back, sitting to either side, sitting forward. Now, sometimes when I'm in a meeting with people and the work I do, sometimes we get deep and we get vulnerable, and people will want to tell me something that feels very personal to them. And I will lean in a little bit more just to let them know. It feels like almost like they're telling me a secret, but just to like kind of like as a protection, to lean in a little bit, not close talking, but just to lean in just a bit. If you're standing in front of people, or even if you're seated, this is not good. The wiggle back and forth, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. What does that communicate? Well, insecurity. If you meet someone, you're feeling a little flirty, you tend to do this, that side to side. That's telling other people, remember, this is all nonverbal. This is all subconscious communication, because our brains are processing this stuff super, super fast, right? This is just all not spoken, only felt. And so, this wiggle back and forth, that tells people like this person isn't confident about what they're saying. No, sitting back shows disinterest. Sitting slightly forward shows interest. Sitting too far forward, you're going to feel super intense. And like I said before, sometimes I sit forward, but I don't maintain that. I'm very conscious of what my body is doing when I'm talking to people. Sometimes we get nervous. We're so concerned finding the right words. We forget anything else that's happening to us, and that happens, and that's going to be fine. But if you can work on these things when the stakes are low, when the stakes are high and you're nervous and you have to stand up in front of people or in front of your board, or if you have to ask a big donor for something, this is going to come super natural to you and it'll feel really easy. So this is just one of the techniques that I teach. And I'm going to tell you, most of the work that I do is so much more than just how to be more effective at your job as a nonprofit leader. These techniques work with anyone, anywhere, even like my kids. Okay. So when my son, I'll just be honest with you, my son has emotional, like mental issues, and he has outbursts sometimes. And during these outbursts, you can get fight or flighty on him. I can be like confrontational, like, oh, and get in with him and like confront him. Or I can sometimes I would get back and just kind of like, it's like a tornado. You just like hunker down and let it blow. And when I started to practice these techniques, I specifically remember coming down the stairs and him at the bottom and me going, check your spine. And all I did was this. I exhaled and held my body like this. And he was like, and he just took his anger and it went away. I just checked my spine, aligned it, dropped my chin just a little bit. And there's something subconscious that he was not conscious of that shifted. And then all of a sudden he was like, oh, that's not going anywhere with her. And I know this all seems, like a little mystical, but this is really true. And I know you've experienced this before, like the broken neck. This is the other thing about teenagers, because I have a lot of teens in my house, but the that's that when you throw your head back, all right, that's when you're blocking that receptivity. And like when you're in a meeting, oh God, we have to do that. That's what that is happening. So instead of this, just keeping your head in that nice neutral position, your spine aligned, that is going to make sure that what people see as a calm, confident, relaxed person who's open and receptive. And that is exactly what you want to communicate. And now you know the secrets. Like my son may not have been conscious of what was happening, but I was, and now you are too. So go out there and practice some posture and some receptivity. I can't wait to tell you more. I'm going to have tons more tricks about how to communicate more effectively, non-verbally, because again, that is the majority of the communication that we do. So if you can harness this, you're going to be so much more influential, and you're going to be able to get so much more of what you want, need, and deserve easily, confidently, quickly. I promise. This is Mary Ann with Courageous Communication. I am the influence queen of nonprofits, and I am here to help you up level your influence. And I will see you again soon.